Hey everyone, it is me, Fashion Coder, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit different of a video. I'm doing an Ask Me Anything. So I asked on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Instagram all the questions, and I got lots of responses. So I'm going to do three different categories. I'm going to do personal, coding, and then crypto, because those are like all the things that I got questions for. I'm really excited for this. Also, I'm slightly nervous because I don't typically talk about my personal life on here. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about me and we will just jump right in. So I'm going to try and do this as like a speed round, just to get through different things. Okay, so first one, what's my favorite color? Okay, it's light pink and it is green. Light pink has been my favorite color since I was really little. I mean, you can tell by the background of this. Like, light pink's my favorite. And then I really do love the color green. It is more of like a chartreuse color of green. But yeah, I really do love green. Okay, next question. What are my short-term and long-term goals? So my short-term goals right now, with Fashion Coder, I'll go over that, are to create a course to become crypto competent. I've actually already started on it. I'm really excited to release that and then eventually release a course about becoming a crypto pro. So that's going to be one of my short-term goals within the next 6 months. Long-term goals, I don't know. I would honestly love to be full-time content creation. I've realized that I love this. and so that's been great. And I also love my job too, but I would love to be full-time content creation. So maybe eventually do that. So there's that. And then other areas of my life, I have so many goals in my life. This year, though, I've been working on discipline. And it's been interesting. I usually quit things. I'm really good at quitting things. But this year, I've been focusing on discipline, and I've really been able to like hone in on being able to do things. Like, I've actually followed a workout plan, and I think this is the first time I've actually ever really followed one. And so yeah, so that's that. Okay, next one. Do I have a boyfriend? No. Um, Next one. How much do you bench? So I actually don't think I've ever tried that exercise movement before. Yeah, not my thing. But I used to have a personal trainer, and they were a bodybuilder, and so they got me into powerlifting and everything, and it was awesome. But I had several personal trainers. I've had two guys, one girl, and all of them were awesome. I really liked doing that. All right, how did I come to know Jesus? That's a really good question. It could be a really long story, but I grew up going to church and just I can't really give like an exact moment where it was like this is the moment that I gave my life to Jesus, but I remember being in junior high and I went to youth camp twice when I was in junior high and something about this actually came up this week. So I used to have knee problems when I was like 11, 12-ish, and my knees really hurt. And I remember at camp, God healed me from my knee problems. And always I've wondered, like, oh, well, was it just growing pains? You know, all these things. And when I was in one of my daily prayers this week, actually, I had this searing pain in my knee. And God told me, He was like, this is how your knees would feel if I didn't heal you from that. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But I honestly think I'm the most blessed person in the entire world. Yeah, I cannot say enough about Jesus and how he has absolutely changed my life. And if you are on a faith journey, like Jesus has got you. He loves you and he died for you. Okay, next thing. um, you're young but seem switched on, respectful and motivated, ambitious. Do you think this comes from your parents or something else? I think it's both. So my parents obviously raised me, and they allowed me and my sisters to struggle. They allowed us, I mean, to a certain extent. They wanted us to pay for our own colleges, and so all of us have paid for like our own degrees. They didn't make me, but they made my sisters get jobs in high school. Um, they did all these different things to try and add struggle into our life so then we could own what we were doing. And so like going to college and having to pay for it myself was a big deal because I had to find out a way to do that. And it was awesome because I ended up applying for different leadership scholarships because I didn't get a full academic scholarship. I did get an academic scholarship. But what ended up happening is I ended up finding other ways to have scholarships to pay for college. And so I ended up being on a full ride scholarship through a leadership scholarship. But then because I had academic scholarships and other ones too, the college actually paid me. So I got paid every single semester to go to college. But if my parents would have just paid me, I wouldn't have worked that hard. And so I'm really glad that they added that in. And so, yeah, so definitely part of it is my parents instilling that into me and just seeing both my parents work so hard because both my parents are crazy hard workers. So seeing that, but then also like I have things that I want to do with my life. And so I'm the one that has to do it. Like it's not my parents who are going to do it. So I have to take that and run with it. Okay, this one's from my sister. I'm going to call her out. What's your earliest memory? So it's from my older sister. So me and her are the older girls. So we're the big girls. And then the 3 younger girls are the little girls. Is what was just like always called in our family. And so with my older sister, I mean, me and her did everything together. We played outside together. We had all these different things that we would do together. My earliest memory, though, is of a piece of clothing that I wore. And if you've heard me in my streams before, I have mentioned this a couple of times. Every single memory I have, I can tell you what I'm wearing in it. And like I said, my earliest memory is of a pair of shoes that I had when I was little. So clothing just runs deep in this mind. All right. Let's see. All right, we're going to move on. Actually, one more thing from personal. How did my parents meet? They met at church. Okay, we're going to move on to computer science. All right, so what was your favorite and least favorite class when studying computer science? Y'all, I still can't believe I have a bachelor's degree in computer science. And I'm so glad I do because I've learned so much from it, but oh my gosh. Okay, least favorite class. I actually went to my program on my university's website and found the class. It's called Concepts of Formal Languages and Algorithms for Computing. That class was hell. Great professor. Friends with the professor. The professor's kids had my mom as their teacher for one of their high school classes, okay? So I knew this professor, and he liked me, I liked him. But this class was all about like philosophical things within computer science, and I did not put in the time that I needed to be able to go in and like really like learn it. And by that point in time, it was a senior level class, and I was just done. I was like, I don't care. And so I think I ended up getting like a B in the class or something. I think if I would have actually applied myself, I would have been able to learn it. But I did not apply myself, and it ended up being the worst. And then my favorite class, oh, that's a hard one. So I ended up emphasizing in .NET. So I ended up emphasizing in the .NET framework and C#. And that's actually what I ended up working in when I was a software developer. Oh, and I just love that. So I took the C# class. So I really liked that class. And then the second is I did my senior project in C#. And just all of that. I just even thinking about to it, I'm like, oh, I loved coding then. And I still do, but it's just so different coding in the workplace. Okay, what are you capable of building and editing as a coder? So I am a full stack developer, but my favorite part of it is backend. So I love working with APIs. I love databases. Like if I could be a database admin, oh, I'm sold. Like, I love databases. And so moving information, so data, through the database or from, like, the website, through different APIs to be able to be called through the, mediator stage of full stack, or front end and back end. I love everything that dealt with that because it was so human-formed. So, yeah, that was what I worked on. I worked on web apps, and so, or like websites, not web apps. I've never worked on an actual app before. Yeah, so anything within that. Okay, can you explain the difference in coding legacy versus coding blockchain? All right, this is going to be a good like tie into crypto, but like just blockchain in general. So I took a couple of notes because I wanted to make sure that I like said everything correctly with this. Okay, so coding for legacy. So just like normal coding, you have relational databases. So like SQL is an option of that. And then you also have server client architectures. So the focus is often on maintaining and updating existing systems. And I think that's honestly why I did not end up like being a developer just like in a real world situation. And so it's updating existing systems instead of really creating new ones. But then in coding for blockchain, you're working with all these newer technologies. I mean, right, crypto has only been out for what, like 13, more than that, 14 years. And so all these technologies are technically new. So you're involved in building decentralized applications. And then this, of course, like involves a different set of programming languages. So they're all newer programming languages. And then you're dealing with different paradigms. So you're building a smart contract. Like you're not over here coding just like a website, it's a smart contract. So that's different. And so the focus is more often on creating new things and innovative solutions than like maintaining like existing ones. And eventually I think it will get to that, but because it's so new, like it's not there. All right, next question. Can you talk about best off-ramps and on-ramps for Pulse Chain? Okay, so Pulse LN is a project that is on Pulse Chain that's going to be one of those. There's also called the Pulse Ramp. And then there's a new one. It's not complete. Those other two are complete. But it's called Cardix. So Cardix. So there is that one as well. All right. How long will testnet v3 be live before launch? All right. Hot take on this. Who thinks, and put it in the comments below, who thinks that mainnet's just going to come out instead of v3? I mean, v3 is mainnet if it does that. But who thinks that? I think that's a huge possibility. But if there's an in-between, at least for me and how I release software within my company that I work for, like we do not release software that often. And so like maybe 6 months. But if they also already have everything set up, like I just don't know how much they have left. So I can't really answer that. All right. What are the benefits of crypto in a recession? All right. So I did some research on this because I was curious, like, what does that actually look like? Because it's about to be, and it is what we're in right now. And I found some really good answers. So the first thing is decentralization. So because crypto is mainly decentralized, right, it means that there's no governments that control it. And so it kind of is like a hedge to the recession. Now, I think it's going to be hit too in a way, but it does because of decentralization, it provides stability in times of like this economic uncertainty. So I think that's kind of cool. And then liquidity. So crypto is higher liquidity. So it can be easily bought and sold. And then from there, it's easy to convert your assets into cash. And in a recession, cash is king. So it does allow for that, which is kind of nice. You may be hit hard with taxes on that, so that's something. Borderless transactions. So because it's borderless, it can be sent and received anywhere in the world, which is instantly with low fees sometimes. This is beneficial in a recession as it allows individuals to access global markets and investment opportunities. Awesome. And then it's also a store of value. So just like gold, Bitcoin, as well as others, can be used as a store of value. They're not subject to some of the inflationary pressures as the fiat currency, so it can help with that. All right, and then last question. As an influencer, actually I'm going to do one more after this. As an influencer who gained notoriety in the Hex ecosystem, what's your opinion of other YouTubers who have, in effect, swapped teams and become advocates of different sometimes competing coins. Let's see. Do you understand the financial motivation, or do you see it as betrayal? All right, so something about this is sometimes these influencers I actually don't think are being paid. So I don't think it's financial gains in most cases. But how I like to look at it is like we're trying to get people into crypto, and I really don't see it as betrayal. Like someone might, but I'm not a maxi, and I'm never going to be a maxi in anything. And I was actually thinking about this the other day. I will always be a maxi for Jesus, and Jesus is the only person I'll ever be a maxi for. I will never be a maxi for anyone. And I know that that's very controversial to say, but that's just how it is. And that's how I live my life. And so when it comes to being like betraying people, like people really are just looking for the best for themselves. And I think it's okay if someone is looking for the best for themselves and that's what they find. And if they think that something's best for themselves, like that's okay. And so when it really comes down to it, like I think it's interesting that a lot of people get butthurt about people moving from thing to thing. And it's like they're really out here just doing what's best for them. And as someone who should be supporting them, or if you follow them and want to support them, like support them through that. And who knows, like maybe they did find something good. And just because something else is good, it doesn't mean that what you have isn't good. Just because something looks beautiful and shiny for them doesn't mean like what you have isn't beautiful and shiny. So I don't see a problem in it. I think some people can be very dramatic about it, and that's not the way to go for it. But yeah, that's like my hot take on it. It might be controversial, but that's just where I'm at, and that's how I live my life. Okay, last thing. So R23 commented, and he's always in my stream chats, so thank you, shout out to him. But he asked me in one of my chats recently, he was like, tell FC's dad to tell FC's mom, was and so he ended up not, but then yesterday I told him, and then my mom just laughed because she was right there, and so that was the reaction. She laughed, so thanks for that. I would love to know more about you, what cryptos you're in, what you have going on in your life, what are your long-term and short-term goals, because this is a community and we all get to support each other through this. So put those in the comments below. I'm excited to get to know you more, and thanks so much for spending the time to get to know me a little bit more. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.